Hey NDTV, we are sitting here with Jerry Vielhauer, the new student body president-elect. You were elected this past February 5th after the polls closed. This was an unopposed election, so the cycle was a little bit shorter, and that win was, I want to say, guaranteed for you. Could you just tell us a little bit about that process?
Yeah, so obviously with no one else getting enough petitions to be on the ballot, they canceled the debate, and we just had an election that was uncontested. It was still the same day and everything, but it was pretty assumed that that was going to be the outcome for a while leading up. But yeah, that was very grateful to have had the opportunity and for the support from the students.
Yeah, and then this election did see some record low turnout, I imagine because of that election being uncontested. I think a lot of us here at NDTV and students across campus just didn't really get the chance with no debate and just kind of a shortened election cycle to understand what your platforms were, what you were kind of running on. So if you could just walk us through that, something you would have said at the debate if there had been one.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that a lot of the big things we want to do are things that we've heard students complain about and speak out about a lot. So like campus nutrition in the dining halls is something that we're continually working on, just like the last couple administrations, as well as a lot of the campus improvements like drainage we've seen today when it rained. I don't know about you, but my socks and shoes got soaked through on my walk to class in the morning, and that's something that we want to address. The dorms are a big thing with the laundry system, expediting work orders, upkeep on bathrooms, a lot of those issues that affect every student. And yeah, our policy, we sent out an email to the student body on Monday, so our policy is linked on there. And a lot of it isn't final. We are continuing to listen to feedback from students and include adding more, especially once we get in office and talk to the outgoing directors. We will definitely be incorporating a lot of their initiatives as well. So.
Mm-hmm. And then with that kind of shortened election cycle, is there just anything that you want students to know about you, whether it's something personal, something you like to do at Notre Dame, just kind of anything where they didn't get to really see it from you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very outgoing. I'm someone who loves to talk to anyone and everyone at all times. I love Notre Dame. My love for Notre Dame started the second I got here, Welcome Weekend freshman year, and then my sophomore year I helped be a co-lead for Welcome Weekend for my dorm, which I loved, and helping welcome everyone else in. I found great community at Notre Dame, and I really want to give back to a place that's given so much to me. And for Sonia, it's the same reasons. It's really all about making a better experience for everyone on campus here, and that's really what I want everyone to know. It's the big thing, and that I'm just always willing to talk and always want to hear what students think because we serve you. So.
Yeah, and then looking more towards the future, so you were elected on February 5th. It's the last day of February today, and then we're going to go into March, which is your last month before you take office, April 1st. What are some of the first things that you're planning on doing once you take office?
Yeah, I mean, first things once we take office, we're going to have our directors in place, and then throughout kind of the rest of this year, we're going to be looking at the members of the departments that have applied and making sure we really flesh those out as best as possible, having as many people involved as we can, and then really getting on working on those administrative things, things with administration in terms of policy that we can help work on over the summer. A couple things we really want to hope we can get done over the summer is bringing in new equipment to the Rock is a big thing everyone's talked about. Working with the dining halls to set up those good relationships to talk about potential different meal plans, especially for underclassmen, as well as maybe talking about the flex points or the late night dining and grab and go hours. Just a lot of those things that take time because a lot of the programming really happens once we come back next year. And a lot of the policy stuff that takes a little more time. So really getting on some of those policy things, some of the campus improvements that we really want to address. So.
Mm-hmm. And then my next question, you just released this past Monday the executive department applications, which are now open, and a lot of students have seen some changes with that. It's dropped down from, I think, around 20 departments to now 16, with some getting rid of, I want to say it's South Bend engagement, sustainability, national affairs, and political engagement, and then the LGBTQ advocacy programs, and then some were kind of restructured, combined together. That would be, I want to say, international engagement and race, and then race and ethnicity cabinets combined. So I think a lot of people are just wondering what those changes were for and why you made them. So if you want to just walk us through some of those reasons. Yeah,
so to clarify on a lot of those, we aren't taking anything away. What we're doing is we're just moving things around. And so, for example, the LGBTQ advocacy department, as well as Title IX and women's initiatives, we're bringing it together in one to make a bigger, more powerful and more concentrated effort in that department. It's all about, for us, creating more efficient processes. We're going to have even larger groups of people dedicated to those. where we can empower those communities to work on those things internally in those departments with bigger departments, and then we can also help to with less departments, obviously, to meet and have a little bit less like reach across many people, but then like help them be empowered to go deeper into their areas, so that we can then work on some of those policy issues with administration that affect all students, like campus dining. And then so with the other ones, like you mentioned, the racial relations as well as international engagement, that's kind of the same thing. Like we might be bringing together like co-directors for these departments, but there's nothing that we're going to be cutting. We're going to be keeping the initiatives of these departments, just restructuring them and kind of changing the format of what we want to do. And a lot of this was because it really became like a lot of departments. I mean, this has gone from like 10, 15 to like 20 plus in just like a few years. And with 9 branches of the student union and so much going on there, that really makes it more difficult for us to like give our all to all of those departments and all of those people. And so by consolidating things and bringing things together, we hope to continue the same initiatives and programming that has done before, but it's just in a little different organization. And you mentioned like sustainability. That's something we don't want that just confined to one department. We want to like expand that to all our departments and have student practices being undergone across the board. And with the national affairs and political engagement, that was one where last year in election year we felt was like very powerful with having that election, but with next year not having an election, not having those things to deal with. We want to help, like once again, with taking kind of the nutrition aspects, like part of that from student life, university policy, and elsewhere into one. We can now bring some of the initiatives from NAPE, which is National Affairs and Political Engagement, to other departments like student life, and then empower groups like ND Votes and like Bridge ND to really have a larger platform and grow in the kind of area that leaves.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then one more was that the Observer posted their endorsement, which was to abstain and then to abolish student government. And I think a lot of people might be feeling those sentiments of what does student government actually do? Why is it necessary? So I just want to give you the platform to explain why student government is necessary and how you might be trying to engage more with the student body to make them see why you think it is necessary.
Right. Yeah, I mean, student government is a lot for students, and a lot of it is behind the scenes people don't see. With the past administration, there's been numerous amounts of programming that helps all student groups. That's one of the reasons that some people, I think, are like speaking out some of the department changes, because they just want to make sure that those programming events that have been impactful to them are still being continued, and they are, like I was talking about. But yeah, student government does a lot of work with administrators, like administration in general, different bodies on campus and groups like university dining, and all of that work takes time. Bringing in spices this year, which something Dawson May did, bringing in the pasta stations, all of those kind of changes take time, and the digital IDs is something also that has been proposed by student government like years ago, but now is finally coming into fruition after people have talked to administration, had those conversations over the year. So I think it's really about having patience. If student government's abolished, then there was no representation for the students, and then there's no bridge from the administration to the student body. So I think that while there are changes that need to be made in student government, and that's what we're taking the first step of doing here, because that's what the student body has told us, we definitely think that there's numerous benefits, and know there are numerous benefits of student government with all 9 branches, no matter how it might be seen on a day-to-day basis from students. There are a lot of people working very hard for the students to serve them, and everyone here that is at Notre Dame loves Notre Dame, and that's our main priority, is giving back.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. We really appreciate it, and we just wish you the best of luck going into your final month before you take office.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.